Hi, welcome back. This is Maths from Scratch, and this is the answer walkthrough video for column method subtraction level 7. Now, if you're new here, basically, there was a lesson video called column method subtraction level 7, and here are the answers that goes with the practice questions given at the end of that lesson. Because what is the point in doing maths if you can't go through the answers and see where you've gone wrong? So, without further ado, let's crack on. So, this lesson obviously was talking about how we how we subtract decimals. Okay, so obviously the key point to remember was that we were taught that we need to make sure to line up our numbers in terms of place value. Okay, so I've lined up my units there, there's my tenths, there's my hundredths, and now we've done that, we can then subtract these numbers as we would do usually. Okay, so 6 subtract 2, we can do that, that gives me an answer of 4. 9 subtract 3 gives me an answer of 6. Lining up the decimal points there, and then 4 subtract 3 gives me 1. So the answer to question 1 is 1.64. Okay. Excuse me. So question number 2. Okay, again, the trick is to line up the numbers in terms of place value, and I think we'll have room to do it here. So we've got 64.32, and we're going to subtract from that 0.64. So the 0 is in the units column. Line that up. 0.64. Okay, we're going to draw the lines, and then away we go. 2 subtract 4. 2 is too small, so we need to borrow. So we're going to borrow from the 3 next to it. Okay, so we're going to reduce that to a 2, then the 1 then lives next to that 2 to make a 12. 12 subtract 4 gives me an answer of 8. 2 subtract 6, okay, again we can't do because 2 is too small. Remember, we learnt this in one of the previous levels. So we're going to borrow from this one. The 1's going to live next to there, so we've got a double borrowing or double compensating, whatever, again, what you want to call it. 12 subtract 6 is 6. Okay, line up your columns in terms of, well, line up your decimal point. 3 subtract 0 is 3, and then we've got a 6 there. So the answer to question number 2 is 63.68. Cut out. Right, cut in. Right, question number 3. We have 9.1 subtract 0.036. So again, line up our columns. And again, this is the longer one. So 0.036. Again, we need something to take these away from. So we're just going to add some zeros above there. Okay. So hopefully this is making sense and you're getting these right. So 0 subtract 6. We can't do. So we're going to set up the chain of borrowing. So that reduces to a 0, carry the 1. That reduces to a 9, carry the 1. Okay. 10 subtract 6 gives me an answer of 4. 9 subtract 3 gives me an answer of 6. 0 subtract 0 is nothing. Decimal points lined up. And then we've got 9 subtract nothing. And so that just gives me 9. So the answer to question 3, draw an arrow so we don't get confused with question 5, is 9.064. Question number 4 then. 74.6 subtract 1.923, line up the decimal points, 923, add the 2 zeros above, draw the lines, very nice, but don't try and cover them up like I did, and then let's go through and answer this one. 0 subtract 3 can't do, too small, so we're going to set up the chain of borrowing yet again from this one. So you can see the borrowing and the chains of borrowing really do add the complexity to this method. Carry the 1. Okay, we need to reduce that to a 9, carry the 1. 10 subtract 3, 7. 9 subtract 2, again, is another 7. 5 subtract 9, okay, we can't do because 5 is too small. So we're going to borrow from this one. Reduce it to a 3. We've got a double compensated now. You've got to concentrate, haven't you? Otherwise, you just lose where you are. 15 subtract 9, that gives me an answer of 6. Decimal point lined up. 3 subtract 1 is 2, and then that just gives me 7. So that one's 72.677. And then lastly, question number 5. Okay, so we've got 17, so we've got a whole number, an integer. I think the first one we've seen. And then we're going to subtract 9.327. Okay, so line up decimal points. There is a decimal point after the 17 there. So now we've got 9329 underneath, and then we need to have something to take these decimals away from, or the digits away from. Okay, let's have, right, and again, you see lots of zeros on top, you know it's going to be chaining or double borrowing. So let's just do this. Reduces to a 6, carry the 1, that reduces to a 9, carry the 1, that reduces to a 9, carry the 1, there we are, sorted. 10 subtract 9 gives me 1, 9 subtract 2 gives me 7, 10th column, 9 subtract 3 gives me 6, decimal points lined up, 6 subtract 9, okay, we can't do this one either, so we're going to have to borrow again, double borrowing, 16 subtract 9, okay, and that gives me an answer of 7. And so that's question 5 done. So if you've got your head around that, you can now subtract any two digits. Any two numbers away from each other, decimals or anything. Okay, so well done. That's level 7 done.